So there's our guard cat. That's that stray that showed up a few weeks ago. I trapped her twice by accident in the live trap, and then she just started getting fed, and now she has a fancy little bowl. I mean, she's a really good guard cat too. Yesterday I came out 5 o'clock in the morning, gave her some wet food. I put it on this plate. She jumps up here and she's eating it, and then up crawls a raccoon right behind her, and the cat didn't do anything about it. It was like, okay, let me move to the side. So that was kind of frightening, being right there and seeing a raccoon jump up and you're half asleep. So I would trap the raccoon, but my concern is the cat get trapped back in it. So I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of the raccoon. It went that direction, so the cat stays pretty much in this porch area. So I might just put the trap out in the woods and see if we can get the trap out, see if we can trap that raccoon. It was a big one too. I think it was a male. So today I thought I'd do a little rant video. I don't do these very often, but I'm actually really kind of aggravated. And the more I think about it, the more aggravated I get about different things and how people react to things. They don't have a solution to it. You know, the only solution they have is to hurt somebody else. That's the only solution they have. So today I read that some engineer, I don't know, it doesn't matter, I don't care, wants to build a huge pipeline from Louisiana to California and pump water out of the Mississippi River, because California is out of water and they need to fill up this lake because they're in a drought condition. So that means, you know, you just take it from the losers here in the Midwest and we'll give it to the people who are important out there in California. And it just drives me insane. First of all, I can't even imagine the environmental disaster that will happen. All the farmland and all the forest land, and they're going to have to cut through a mountain, and it's just, and how much money are we going to have to invest in this? And because you know California isn't going to pay for it, they'll expect us to pay for their problems. And the more I think about their problems, it's that they caused their own problems. Oh no, it's because this environmental change that we got going on. It's not California's fault. Oh, sure, it's not California's fault. Think about some of the richest houses in California, some of the most manicured lawns in California. So I thought, well, maybe I'll look up the restrictions they have on water in California. They're out of water, so they better be taking like Navy showers where you wet down, you shut off the water, you soap up, you turn the water back on, you rinse off, you shut the water off, and you've used like a minute's worth of water. So I thought that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, if they're out of water and they're having to invest that much money to build a pipeline from Louisiana to steal water from Louisiana all the way to California, like there isn't a better plan, like desalination plants. I know they could build them. It may not produce as much water as what they're saying, but I know they could build them. But the other thing I was thinking is, okay, so water restrictions is that if you have odd street address, you get to water your property on like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you have even, you get Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. What, you get to water your lawn? You're out of water. You want me to pay for you to get more water. You want to destroy the environment by running this huge pipe. The thing's huge. It's actually going to be bigger than the Alaska oil pipeline, and it pumps like 1.3 million barrels a day. And the only people that it's going to benefit is the people in California. Of course, then they have to go up this mountain, so they got to pump water over a mountain and down. So now we're talking about all the energy that we have to use. It's terrible. We're going to have solar panels and windmills, and we got to get off fossil fuels, but we're going to pump water over a mountain. And so then I tell people that you got to get debt free. This is on the same token. I'm going to tie all this together. That Americans are spoiled and they refuse to do what it takes to actually get ahead. Whether you live in California or in $1 million mansions or $1 billion mansions, or you live in a high rent apartment. We don't do what it takes, and we're not going to do what it takes. I've heard people say, hell, like heck I'm going to do that. Of course, they use the other word. Like heck I'm going to do that. And so they suffer and they struggle and they get kicked out of their apartments. I'm never going to do that. That's a bunch of bull, BS. Well, might be BS, but you're the one miserable, and then you expect me to fix it. If you got high rent, or your water bill's high, or your electric bill's high, folks will not do what it takes to actually cut things down. If your electric bill's high, shut off the air conditioner. You can do it. Oh, it's uncomfortable. I agree. And I know somebody's going to say, I got medical conditions. Well, I'm not really talking about medical conditions. Your insurance should be paying for that, I would assume. Because if your doctor's prescribing you to have an air conditioner, then that seems to me that has to be a part of a medical expense. So if they're not, then you need to go back to your doctor and say, I need a prescription for air conditioning. But folks will not shut off the air conditioner no matter how broke they are. Oh, I'm not going to live without air conditioner. But you're not. What about eating? You're going to, well, I'll worry about that when the time comes, but I'm not going to live without air conditioner. Are you going to reduce the amount of water you use? Well, you know, I like my hot showers. If it ain't 125 degrees, I'm not happy. But you can't afford it, so why are you doing it? Just like California can't afford to use the water, yet they're still watering their manicured lawns. Let the lawns die. I let mine die because I can't afford the gas to. I don't know, somebody's going to say, get goats. I've talked about goats. I'm not going to get goats. They're a waste of money. You got to feed them through the winter. They might be able to eat the grass in the summer, but you got to feed them in the winter. That's another example of just wasting money. So I don't have to cut grass. I'm going to get goats, but then I'm going to have to spend money to feed them. So, but like I said, I don't cut grass. It hasn't hardly rained here, so let it die. I'm not going to water it, so I have to go out and cut it. They refuse to do what it takes to make a difference in their own lives. If they made a difference in their own lives, then they wouldn't have to try to change my life so they can save the environment. Makes no sense. It's like these politicians, and I know you've all heard John Kerry and Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio. They fly around the world using more energy, spending more carbon dioxide, flying around in their airplanes than the average American uses in a year in their homes. So it's hypocritical. I'm rich and powerful, I can do whatever I want, but I'm going to squash you. I'm rich and powerful, I'm going to use all the water I want, and I'm going to steal it from the Midwest. Then we have to pay taxes for folks who can't afford their rents and foods and all that, and I'm willing to help, as long as a person is willing to help themselves. Carolyn does laundry in these tubs right here. I've showed you this a million times. Of course, they got leaves in them right now. But this is dirty water. Both tubs, she's just finished laundry. Now, you would think, let's get the water out so she can do more laundry, fill it up with clean water so next time she wants to do laundry. But why? This water's still usable. So what she's been doing during the hottest and driest part of the July, she's been carrying buckets of water down. She'll take a coffee jug and she'll dip this into a bucket and carry one bucket down at a time. Well, now it's rained. We got all this water left over with nothing to use it for. Well, gas prices and propane prices are so high that I don't really want to run the generator that much, so I can run the well pump. That is the reason she's been carrying that water down there, so we don't have to run the generator to water the lawn. Now, we could do it off solar, but you see today, I'm sure it's pretty cloudy today. We're not going to get much of a charge, so we really can't run the water today. So instead of using all of our water in the IBC tank, see, that's what I do, is I fill the IBC tank up with water from the well a couple times a week. That is pumped into the house with a small RV pump, about 3 gallons a minute. It doesn't pump much water at all. It uses very little electricity doing it that way. And then we can have water night, day, whatever. We try not to use water because that means I got to fill it up. We got to run the generator. So we try not to use it up with frivolous things. One of the most frivolous things I think anybody could possibly have is a toilet. Oh, but Rob, I got this water saver toilet. It only uses 1 gallon per flush, and you flush it 50 times a day. That's 50 gallons. Well, here you can see, I don't know, that's probably 50 gallons of water. I don't know. I think one's 20 gallons, one's 30 gallons. It doesn't matter, but you get my point. So since it's rained so much, I've been using this water to take into the toilet. Instead of just using the IBC tank to flush the toilet, I have been using this water to flush instead. You could do the same thing. Your wash machine has a hose that comes out of it, usually into a pipe. It's a stanchion pipe. It stands up right behind the wash machine. You could take that hose out, put it right into a barrel, 50-gallon drum, something, and then you could just, when your washer is expelling its water, instead of expelling it into the sewer, you could expel into that barrel and then take that barrel water, fill up a bucket, take it into your bathroom, and all day long use that coffee can to fill up the back of the toilet to have for the next flush. It's extra work. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. You're nuts. That's just crazy. Why would I ever do that? Because you're broke. That's why. Because California's out of water. That's why. Instead of doing things to improve your lives, we do these massive projects and taxes, and we all go broke, and then we think, well, taxes are just too high in this country. And I agree. I got nailed on taxes this year, and I live off-grid without electricity in a little tiny house. I don't spend any money and I barely make any, and I got nailed on taxes. It's insane. What am I buying? Oh, I forgot, I gotta give water to California because, you know, but they live in their $1 million mansions and I gotta buy their stuff. I don't like it. It aggravates me a lot. So this isn't that hard. Once a day, I come out here, I fill up a bucket, and we got several buckets actually. Carolyn uses a lot of this to water her sunflower seeds for the chickens. So they sprout up. I've told you about that. So these are the things that you can do, just little things you can do to make your expenses less. The thing is a lot of people get in my comment section and says, I just know you're a cheapskate. Why are you such a cheapskate? Why won't you spend more money? And somebody's going to complain that I dump water out of these things and put it into the toilet. Somebody's going to say, oh, you're just a cheapskate. I'd rather enjoy my life in a little tiny house, being happy and healthy, without the threat of a heart attack every day because I have to go to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week with a boss yelling at me. I'd much rather be here, listening to that rooster all day and all night, playing with the cat, sitting in the tiny house, and transferring water into the bathroom. When I lived in the town, we had city water. I did everything I could to save water. It was so expensive. I mean, it was just terribly expensive. That was like $80 a month. It was terrible. Just for the water. Of course, we still had sewer. I'd put quart jars full of water in the back of the toilet so it would use less water. I would use bath water. Instead of, you know, dumping out the bath water, we would take that bath water, leave it in the bathtub, and we'd take a Folgers can or something and fill the toilet. There are things you can do to take shortcuts so you don't have to impose your problems on somebody else. So if you would you click that super thanks button down there? I'd really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to really figure out how to solve your issues simplistically. Thanks for watching.